right. We're back again. I stopped counting again. I think it's 9. Are we 9 now?
I don't know. I legitimately think it's
Hey,
like 9. It's 9 or 10.
Next time's double digits.
I don't know. We have a YouTube. We could probably count it or something.
I don't feel like it.
Whatever.
So, how you doing, Joe?
I'm good, man. The holidays were wonderful. Well, my holiday, because some of us work holidays out there.
Oh, you doing it early?
Yeah, we did it early. We did it Sunday. I took yesterday off to be with my wife's family, which is always a great time.
Mm.
And everybody got great gifts, and I ate way more than what I wanted to, man. I felt like a fucking fatty. Like, I had like 3 donuts, bro. I'm not proud of that. They were delicious.
I ordered like 20 wings from Buffalo Wild Wings yesterday.
Oh. What kind of wings do you eat?
So they just started having Nashville Hot,
Okay.
which Nashville Hot is pretty good. And I also had a friend who complained at me for only eating hot wings, so I got garlic parmesan, and those
Who
were
complains at
pretty good
you
too.
for only eating hot wings?
I don't know. I mean, when I say like, I only really like wings when they're hot, you know.
I mean, yeah.
But like that's the point, right? You
want a little bit of spice with your wings. It's not a goddamn Tootsie Pop.
But you know, the garlic parmesan was pretty good, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, well, obviously not. I do like me some garlic parmesan wings too. But if I'm gonna go wings, I'm gonna go hot wings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, 'tis the season to be a fat kid, you know. I'll just do what everybody else does and join the gym in January and then not go after February. Because apparently that's what America fucking does.
Do you want them after February?
No, I don't. No, because January is always the worst time. Like, for us guys who legitimately go to the gym, January is the worst fucking month. Because everybody's sitting on their, sitting on the treadmill, taking selfies. Like, woo, new year, new me. Like, no. New year, same old bullshit with you. We know what you're doing, Nancy. You're not going to be here after February, and we know you're just going to stop by the fucking pizza joint afterward and be like, I earned this.
Getting myself summer fit.
Yes, that's actually sickly accurate. I don't like those people.
See, I don't pretend. I just don't go.
I mean, you're very open about not going in any way, shape, or form, and it shows.
Wow, okay. Ow.
I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
I did. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've gone here and there. I would almost probably want to go more, but...
How do we get you into the gym? Do I have to put anime posters in the fucking gym?
It would help.
All right, I didn't expect that answer. I mean, okay. When I worked for Evolve, we had like Naruto on the wall.
Oh, see, I'm not interested in that.
Dragon Ball Z.
No, put girls on the wall.
Oh, well... I can't do that. I out of good sound mind, I can't do that, Anthony.
All right, fine.
I mean, you should just be going because you want to better yourself and better your health.
No.
Oh, well, that was quick.
Yeah.
real short to the point.
Yeah, no. Bettering my body doesn't seem, very efficient to me. I'll just stay at home and do things here.
You know what? I'm going to leave that one go. Everyone gets one. I'm just going to leave it go. I didn't notice you have very veiny forearms, but your biceps are lacking. Not going to make any exceptions.
Are they veiny?
And you just, I don't know. I don't think they're veiny.
No, I don't think
they're very hairy. You're a hairy man.
Okay.
But how's your week?
Don't call me Cubby Bear for nothing.
Oh, God. Don't start with that.
My week was fine, I guess. I don't think anything out of the ordinary particularly happened, though. Picked up a couple new games here and there, as I do. Been playing more Team Fortress 2 than usual.
I mean, it's a good game. I can't say that it's not.
Yeah, having a lot of fun playing Spy. Goes behind lines, he stabs people in their back. It's very fun.
You know what? I was gonna make a joke about that, but I'm gonna be good. I'm trying. New year, new me, right, Anthony? I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm gonna be a good guy.
Nobody's asked you to be a good guy. I certainly haven't.
I mean, someone's got to be the other half of this podcast. All right.
So are you saying I'm not the good guy? Am I not the face of this?
Okay, look, I'm not saying you're not the good guy. I'm just saying I'm the other guy. Like, you're the all right guy. But for real, though, if you would hear him at roll call at work, you would totally think he's not He's not that good of a guy.
Yeah, kind of a villain, actually.
It's not like we don't goad you into things, though. Like, we definitely bait you a little bit to get you to say things.
Jeremiah is going to push it to a point that is not going to... we're not going to come back from it. I like talking to the guy, but that's the problem, is he's making me show my power level, as it were.
And that's why we're hesitant to bring him onto the podcast anytime soon. Because it's going to get...
We'd get canceled.
It's going to get dark. Yeah, it's going to get darker. We're going to get canceled.
It's mostly going to be his fault.
Just like Christmas. Fuck this pandemic, dude. I mean, like, I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. Like, that's driving me insane. Now I got to stay home with my wife and kid? Who the fuck signed up for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough that you have to live with them.
Right,
Imagine
exactly.
being with them most of the time.
I gotta be with them. I gotta come home and I honestly have nothing bad to say. I can't even say anything bad. I tried to run with it and fell. I mean, it's a good life. It's a good life, man. Like, all I do is, like, do this podcast. I lift. I go to work and I hang out with my family. I mean, I'm boring now, but I would totally go drinking with you and the hospital staff again.
Yeah, if you could.
That always gets wonderful.
Yeah.
Good times, man. Good times.
Miss those days, man. Well, we might be getting, vaccines soon here, so maybe the world can return to normal. Well, it'll probably be several months off still, but we can be optimistic.
A lot of people are trying to tell me, oh, why are you getting the vaccine? I'm like, well, because I'm getting the vaccine because have you not seen the shit I do to my own body? You really think that's going to hurt me?
Right.
Like, no. Even coronavirus probably entered my body like, nope, don't want to be here. Fuck this. I'm out.
This was a mistake.
Like,
I mean, obviously you want the vaccine because you have a family to fucking go home to.
I've got a family. I got a wife with asthma. Almost said other things.
Got a wife with Asperger's.
Yeah, definitely almost.
Like,
I apologize,
I don't know if I'd
babe.
say that about it.
I don't know if you can say it's full-blown Asperger's. There's definitely a couple ticks there. Sorry. I apologize, babe. I love you. But yeah, I'm getting the vaccine. I don't know why everybody's scared of it. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, it's based on, long-running research. It's the same mRNA process they've been doing for a while. I mean, I don't know the specifics on it. I'm not a medical person, but I've spoken to plenty of other people who seem pretty confident in it, and I don't see why they would want to make this a countrywide thing when it doesn't work. Clearly it does. So, and I don't have allergies to anything, so I will happily step up and be one of the first to take it.
He's a lie. He's a liar. It's all a lie. He's allergic to my bullshit.
Yeah, I'm allergic to working out.
So, because like, if a whole bunch of medical professionals are like, yeah, I want that. I mean,
right.
They're lining up to get it.
Well, I mean, you put up with it for, almost a year now. Why do you want to keep going?
Yeah, I don't understand why people want to keep going.
Let's nip this thing in the bud.
Yeah, put on a damn mask. Wash your fucking hands, people. It's not hard.
And worst case scenario, you get the vaccine, you turn into a lizard. Being a lizard would be pretty cool.
Hey, look, I'm all for it to, like, rewrite my DNA because I'm pretty sure that's how fucking superheroes are born, bro.
Throw the nanomachines in me, man.
Look, I'm saying that Iron Man had nanomachines. I mean, I'm not comparing myself to Iron Man. If anything, I'm a mix between Fat Thor and Deadpool. Like...
Yeah, not even the good parts.
I mean, ow. All right. Fuck you, I lift. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard so many conspiracy theories about him, and that's a rabbit hole you should fucking go down.
Right.
You should go down that rabbit hole just for the shits and giggles. Like, it gets really, really, like, I saw something about, like, alien blood DNA in the vaccine. Yeah, Reddit is a weird place. That's all I'm saying. It's gonna get crazy. Like, one person tried to tell me the other day it was going to make him sterile, and I looked him dead in the face. I was like, I mean, if it does, is that bad?
We're probably better off.
He didn't even get it. He's like, oh, I mean, I already have 2 kids. And, like, my first thought was, like, Jesus Christ, he procreated. Like, this guy's got the IQ of room temperature and maybe 3 teeth. How? Why? Go away. Like,
oh, goodness. So, Joe, you had an idea for today's topic, so...
Yeah, my idea was, like, we never really fully introduced ourselves. Like, if you don't know who we are, you're not going to get the dynamic between us.
Right.
And like, so in,
See, but going in hard and dry was kind of always our game plan.
I mean, that's how my kid was born.
That's just
really.
what we do, right?
And like, I mean, yes, going in hard and dry and just making the audience bite the pillow, so to speak, you know. But obviously, I think the last episode had like 6 views, so we're probably not doing the best with the hard and dry. So now you're gonna sit down and you're gonna fucking listen to who I am and who this little nutbagger is in front of me.
Nutbagger.
I was gonna say sandbagger, but you wouldn't get that. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
It's a jujitsu reference. Get to the goddamn gym, Anthony.
Isn't a sandbagger somebody who just like takes hits and that's about it?
No, a sandbagger is basically someone who's like, I know I'm a black belt, but I'm gonna compete in the blue belt division because you know why? Fuck children. That's
Really?
why. Yeah. They're assholes, dude. They've been like, oh, I've been only doing this for 2 years.
So it's kind of
got like 6 pro fights under his belt. Fuck that
it's
guy.
kind of the same idea as what is the term? When you're playing like billiards with people and you're like, oh man, I'm so bad.
Pool sharking.
What is it?
It's
It's
basically
like pool
pool
sharking. Yeah.
Yes. And it's just complete shit. So yeah, I called you a nut hugger or whatever I called you.
Nutbagger.
Whatever.
We go down to the grocery store and they're bagging nuts.
I don't know if I want to go back to that grocery store, or I might go back a couple times today. I mean, just depending on your example of bagging nuts.
You got cashews? Give me some of those pistachios.
Oh man, I do love pistachios. So yeah, before you can get me all off subject, which I mean isn't hard. ADD is a real thing. But like, it's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of ask questions. You're gonna get to better know your hosts. This is not a live feed. I almost asked you guys to send in your questions, and I was like, that's not gonna fucking work.
That would be fun though.
I mean, that we should do something
I'd
along
love
those
to,
lines.
but nobody pays attention to our social
Look, we
media.
can make people pay attention, Anthony. It's.
Can we? Just post scandalous stuff, you know? Just
I mean,
open up that OnlyFans, Joe.
I've been trying. No one. Like, they're paying me to shut it down now, believe it or not. Like, apparently my sexy dancing isn't getting to them. And so, yeah, I'm making decent money off of them paying me to shut it down.
So, I guess, you know, to start with, here's a good, like, big open-ended question. Why did we start this podcast, Joe? I think you might have been the first one to mention something about it.
It was actually my wife. She had heard us bantering at the bar one night.
Right.
And she was like, you know what you guys should do? You guys are funny as hell. You should definitely do a podcast. You're complete fucking opposites. And, like, you guys are hilarious and making fun of each other. And, like, just talking. So I was like, you know what? I should approach him to do it because he's probably a fucking nerd and he probably has all that shit to do it.
Right. I have all the equipment and Joe just kind of showed up at my house with beer.
I mean, that's how most of my relationships work, Anthony. Like, I've come to use your shit and I brought drinks. Like, I mean, I could have not brought drinks and just came over and been like, hey, I'm using your shit.
So Roxy realized that these two, like, preschoolers needed an outlet because they never shut the fuck up.
I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, at ground level, that is essentially what it is.
All right. Reasonable. That makes sense.
And I think we've had really good banter. And you trying to teach me things is...
Somehow, you never get on my nerves.
You have a fuse like a god, my friend. Like,
I have this very long, damp fuse.
that I cannot light for
It
anything.
just does not work.
And trust me, ask our boss. I can light somebody's fuse, all right?
Yeah, typically it doesn't take long for him.
Not really. Not really. I mean, I try to be a decent person, but... I mean, you see the world we live in? No, you really can't be a decent person. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll give you the shirt off my back, but...
So why...
I'm going to make fun of you, too.
Why did you want to do a podcast?
I love podcasts. I definitely... I've been listening to them all the time, and I'm like, hey, these guys are funny. Fuck you, I'm funny. I want to try this, and you were, unfortunately, the only person I know that had podcast equipment, so... Here we fucking are. What made you want to do the podcast with me?
So one, it wasn't a choice. There weren't a lot of other options available for me.
I hold him at gunpoint most episodes.
But no, I've tried to get into social media stuff before and being a content creator. Not really received at all. which is fine because honestly, I don't want people going back and seeing that old stuff anyway because a lot of it's trash.
I feel like a lot of the new stuff is trash too.
It very well could be, but at least I'm not saying words that make me put my head in my hands and go, Anthony, young Anthony, why do you say these things, man? I mean, I say them now too, but they're definitely choice words that I've given up on, as of becoming an adult. There are things that young Anthony would have said because it was like the cool and edgy internet thing to say, and not now. Fortunately, not.
Can you give us an example of
Fortunately,
what you would have said?
not racial slurs. I was not that kind of guy.
I don't have you penned for that kind of guy.
No.
That's like the lowest brow that you can get. You're articulate and
Right.
have, a decent IQ and you read fucking books. So yeah, you don't have to rely on racist words to think you're edgy and cool.
And you think that, well, let's flash back, like more than 10 years ago.
Jesus,
oh, God.
I'm old.
I want to die. But I mean, you go back down to like 14-year-old Anthony, and I mean, he was probably saying some like ableist slurs and like homophobic slurs. And it's not that I was those things. It's just you're a 14-year-old kid on the internet.
Yeah.
Everybody else says it.
Shit.
And when everybody else says it, it stops being those things, It's not that I disliked people with mental disabilities or people who...
No, because you're doing a podcast with one.
It's not like I look down on people who had different sexualities. It's just those words meant different things to me then.
They do.
But I realize now, clearly, I'm 27 years old. You'd hope I'd have grown up by now. I realize now that just because those words can mean something else doesn't mean that they don't have a greater impact on somebody who might be hearing them.
No, actually, I do. I mean, I was a shithead at 14, believe it or not. I was a complete shithead.
No.
I was either trying to fuck or fight anything that came at me. And, like, I used to say horrible shit.
Yeah, just to egg someone on.
Like, just to egg somebody on. And, like, I didn't like gays because gays were weak and blah, blah, blah. Now my sister's gay. And, like, I'm all for, like, I mean, fuck, dude, there's, like... I wore a gay pride flag on my shorts for a fight one time.
Nice.
Like, for a friend. No, actually, there's a story behind that. It was really cool. It's a little short one-off story I can tell real quick. It was my 4th or 5th fight. It was for breast cancer awareness, so my trunks were already pink.
Okay.
And, like, I had a good friend of mine come out of the closet, and he told me he was gay the other night. He just didn't want to tell everybody because, this was 2008, 2009. So, like, it wasn't as accepted as it is today. We made huge strides in the last decade.
And if you're still uncomfortable, if one is still uncomfortable with coming out, that's fine. There's still people that have a hard time accepting it, and I can understand being scared. Definitely work towards getting yourself into a better social and mental state where you can be comfortable coming out about that kind of stuff. But it really is unfortunate, and it's unfortunate that in my lifetime I've seen it where it was not acceptable, but it's very fortunate that, now I'm looking at it and it is so acceptable, people being able to be who they want to be, love who they want to love is a fantastic thing.
Like, my sister I'm gonna fuck this up, but something like panda sexual or some shit. I don't know.
Panda express sexual.
Something like
fuck, I love orange chicken,
right?
Dude.
Exactly. Like, shit, I might be panda express sexual.
Yeah, pansexual.
Yeah, there you go, pansexual. And she's married to a woman, has 2 wonderful, wonderful children.
Yeah.
And my buddy, he came out and he was like, yeah, I came out to you because, like, at that time, my sister had told me that she was gay, and I can't hate family. Like, that's just family before anything with me. And I was like, maybe it's not such a horrible thing. That never did anything to me anyway. Like, everyone's like, oh, the gays are going to tear apart the fabric of marriage. Okay, newsflash. Name me one fabric that the gays have ever harmed in any way, shape, or form.
Name one fiber that they haven't just made stronger at this point.
Exactly. Like, so I was like, dude, all right, I'll make you a deal. If you come out to a couple more friends, I'll wear a gay flag gay pride flag
There you go.
stitched to my shorts. I wasn't expecting him to come out, and he did. So I'm
Nice.
gonna make good on this,
Yeah.
you know. And God, I lost those shorts. I don't know what happened to them though, but I did it, and surprisingly, the MMA community was all like, "Oh, that's kind of cool, dude. Big ups to you," because I mean, you're around a bunch of fucking fighters who are
Probably all look down on that kind of thing.
like we're very comfortable in our own skin, and like
I think what you ended up finding was there were a lot more like-minded people who actually do care about that kind of thing, who actually want to see, who want to see people be accepted for who they are, as opposed to looking at an entire group of people and saying they probably wouldn't be interested. You stepped up, which, I mean, I usually take the opportunity to take jabs at you, Joe, but you definitely are that type of guy. I think you would absolutely, you do so much for someone if they asked you to, and I appreciate that. I think it's a cool factor about you.
That's who I am, and like that's who I always kind of be. Like, I do have that badass side. When shit hits the fan, I'll be the first one to grab that axe and head into that fray.
Right.
But like at the same time too, I'm a huge advocate for mental health. I mean,
yeah.
Did you actually see the new tattoo?
I did. Yeah, you got one.
Yeah, the shield wall with the semicolon in it, and like, I tell everybody, if you ever need anything, DM me. If you have my number, call me, text me, whatever. I'm gonna help you out anywhere I can. Don't get me wrong. I'll still throw you in a fucking trunk if I need to, but at the same time, I'm there to listen, and I feel like you're kind of the same way too. Like,
yeah,
I've seen you just even more so than me talk down psychs at the hospital.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like you have this way of you. It's almost like a comforting vibe that you give off. Like,
I rarely ever get agitated with people, especially when they're people I can tell need help.
Need help, yeah.
And I have a much more like sympathetic voice. I don't get loud. I don't get aggressive. I can if I have to.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
I think it'll help. But yeah, at the hospital, I understand a lot of times people aren't being a dick to me because they want to be a dick to me. It's just a factor of the shitty situation they've been put in.
Yeah.
And then recently, especially over the past several months, and I'm obviously not going to name any names, but I've had a couple friends who've been going through some rough patches in life, and they're not even particularly close friends. They're acquaintances. I've met them, I think, once in real life, and typically just on the internet. Old friends of friends who they met in like a college. I didn't go to the same college, so like it's weird because you'd think like, why would you care about their life? But I heard about what's been going on, and I shot them a message, like, how you doing? You want to talk? Kind of stuff like that. And it always feels good afterwards to hear like, hey, I really needed that. Thank you.
No, it really does. I mean, in your own way, that's kind of some superhero shit, like. And everybody tells me, you can't save the world, but you're right. I can't save the world, but I can save someone from the world type thing, and like I'm all for it. I'm just 100% in everything that I do. I'm going to put everything I have behind it, probably in semi-reckless ways, but right. Like, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm a huge advocate for gay rights. I'm a huge advocate for Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Coming from a rough neighborhood, like I seen that stuff. Like my friends just get pulled out of cars and searched for no reason while I'm sitting in the back seat, and they're like, "You have a good day, Mr. Judkins."
Yeah.
We all know the fucking reason why they're on the ground in cuffs and I'm sitting in the back seat.
Yeah.
And like, I'm all for the social change. We are all equal. We're all human.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
except for elves. Fuck those guys. We had that discussion.
Elves are specifically not human, yeah.
And, it hits home with me because, I saw my sister come out and I saw a lot of hatred towards her, and because, my mom was there through everything too. And like, her and my dad weren't about it. Believe it or not, they were not about it. And then they were like, why the fuck? Why would we hate her? Why would we do any of this? And like, my parents stepped up and started learning about it.
Yeah.
And like, they even left their church because the church we were going to at the time was not pro-gay at all.
Okay.
So they ended up leaving their whole lives because, I mean, they were cradle Catholics type thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, fuck you. If you can't love our daughter, you can piss off type thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not a religious man myself, but fuck
mean,
anybody who hates, you know?
Yeah. Like, you're going to spend your time hating another person, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the downside of it. My religion is kindness, bro. Like, that's my religion.
Yeah, that's what should matter most. I realized what long of a tangent we went on here. But that's fine because it was totally something worth talking about.
And you get to know us a little bit more too.
Yeah, like I said, I have older videos on YouTube. I think I even took those down because I just wasn't proud of them. I have a couple that are up that I was proud of because those were more recent. Those were in the past 4 or 5 years. I listened to a couple the other day, just nostalgia. It was fun listening to myself. One, I definitely had some sort of fucking head cold or something. It's funny to listen back and be like, man, yeah, that's something you could pinpoint. You can look back to. Definitely, considered doing streaming again. I bought equipment for it. That's the funny thing is you can spend X amount of hundreds of dollars on this shit. But the problem is none of it matters if you if you don't put yourself in the headspace to do it. It's like the thing about streaming or making content is like you just got to do it. That's what you and I are doing now.
Yeah, you have to.
We're just fucking doing it, and
that's my mentality.
Yeah, the nice thing about you, Joe, is you will always like push me to keep doing it. So I appreciate that, honest to God, because I know I would probably have just been like, I'm too tired to do it today or whatever it is. But there's a part of me that obviously is just like, no, let's do this.
Fuck it, yeah.
So if I continue to do more content creation, I definitely will try to continue putting that out there on Facebook and stuff. So that would be where I'm coming from. Is I want to get into this content creation thing,
which is awesome.
This has been a good leap pad into getting me to do a little bit more when I get home.
You should. I think you should totally stream because God knows you'd be playing up weird ass video games anyway.
Right.
I think your commentary behind the video games would be hilarious.
I had a friend. I don't know why I'm doing this when we're a no video podcast, but I had a friend. I commissioned him to do an art piece, and I wanted to show it to Joe. Now that I think about it.
Oh no! What did you do? I'm part of me.
Stuck together. What the fuck? Not the dog.
I was like, that's an awesome dog.
Yeah, but that's
that's actually pretty dope.
Yeah, those are characters from a game called No More Heroes.
That's actually really dope.
My friend, I'm gonna give him a shout out because he's fucking awesome. Andy Hognisto. I always forget how to pronounce his last name. It's a wild last name with a ton of consonants in it. But I will definitely try to tag him in today's video. On Facebook, I'll like, hey, my friend Andy made me a thing. Go check him out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's a fantastic artist. He started up his own art shop on Facebook.
That's awesome.
I assume he takes open commissions, but I'm not sure exactly how that goes for him. So I would definitely keep an eye out for him. I think he makes really fantastic art. Anytime I've asked to commission something from him, he hasn't said no. So he's pretty open.
Now when I ask, that's a whole nother story.
Right. Well, Joe, when you're asking for him to draw a dwarf riding a bear, actually, he'd love to draw that.
You know what?
He fucking would love
give
to
me a price and we'll talk about it.
I'll introduce you to him later.
I'm definitely open to that. I mean, I'm open to everything. We're not the best podcasters in the world, but
fuck you. Yes, we are.
I mean, we're still doing it, I mean, ultimately get out there and do things. Like Anthony, he wants to do the streaming and he loves doing voice work.
Right.
I know you said some of that stuff and, I think you really could do something with the whole streaming thing and you should definitely do that. And I can't say, I can say that when I die, I've done pretty much everything I wanted to.
Okay,
I mean, I've I've never
don't
hesitated.
Yeah, don't have regrets. Don't hesitate on doing things.
So what? You fail. Shit happens. Like, just do what you love, man.
Yeah, it's
There's
better.
so many people out there that don't.
It's better to pick yourself up than to, lie down on the couch and have never done anything in the first place.
Right.
So
I know there's too many people out there that do that. So get your lazy ass up, do something.
Or
fuckers.
as some would put it, you missed 100% of the shots you don't take. Oh yeah.
All right, look here. If you take any more shots at sports today, I'm gonna kick you right in the anime dick. The tiny little anime chode.
What got you started in MMA? Like at what point in your life did you go like, you know what, this is what I want to do?
Well, I grew up as a wrestler in DeKalb. My neighbor was Golden Gloves boxer, so I kind of got into it that way.
Oh shit. Okay.
He was a really cool dude. Shout out to Frank. I miss the old neighborhood sometimes. It was a crazy neighborhood, but still I met some wonderful people. I know you're probably not real familiar with the area, but I grew up in the early 2000s, 10th and Pleasant, Little Mexico.
Uh-huh.
I was one of a handful of white kids,
Right.
And it was so weird. You think I would have gotten bullied a lot, but I never really got bullied. Like I was friends with the Hispanic kids, and like we fought for fun type thing. Like it was, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna fight you to beat you up, it was, I'm gonna fight you because we have nothing else better to do and we're poor. Like, I mean, it's as much as it says. And I got into boxing. I was into wrestling, and I remember going over to my cousin Cedric's for the first Ultimate Fighter finale. It was a show that I had been watching. I was super excited about it.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I was like, I saw Stephan Bonner versus Forrest Griffin, the first fight. I was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. Like, absolutely, this is what I want to do. I fell in love with it because there's a beauty to the chaos. You know? And I always tell people there's two things when you meet a guy. Like, you ask yourself, one, is he prettier than me? Okay, you can answer that question.
Okay.
Two, if I have to fight this motherfucker, can I take him? We're just examining that second part a little bit harder. Like,
right, you're scrutinizing that bit a little bit more than the other, yeah.
And I loved mixed martial arts. I love boxing. I love wrestling. Like, I've gone back and I've taught the kids wrestling, and I've done a lot of stuff with boxing. I've coached multiple teams. I've got fighters that I've coached that are professionals now. And I never went pro because of head trauma and, all that. And I got a son now, and, I got to kind of focus on my family, but the love is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you got to do as much of it as your heart wanted.
Yeah,
maybe you didn't go pro, but
I didn't go pro.
You didn't really care to. You just wanted to do it for the love of the sport. And
absolutely.
Teach other people about it.
Like, I won an amateur title. I brought home some medals. Won a Fight of the Night trophy. Like, so I have the accolades, just not on the UFC level. But ultimately, that's my passion. I mean, what kind of got you into anime? Because to me it's so out there. It's not normal. I mean, I'm not saying you're normal, because God knows you're not.
Right.
But it's what got you into it?
Yeah, it's not the type of thing everyone you meet is, openly into, although I'd say a lot more now. You're going to hear a lot of people who are like, yeah, man, I've loved watching Attack on Titan or whatever. There's more popularized anime out there that people will watch. Maybe they're not as big a fan of anime in general as I might be.
Yeah.
But you're right that it's not like normal. I can accept that. It's a hobby, right? That's my hobby.
Yeah, it's your hobby.
Funnily enough, I don't know if anime is necessarily the hobby I would say I have as like my top. Because video games are definitely above that.
Okay, yeah, all right. I totally undershot the video games. But
yeah,
you're not good at sports, so you play video games. I understand.
I mean, I'm definitely like both. I mean, you're literally sitting in my room. You can look around and see how much anime I do have. But
trust me, it's unnerving.
It's a lot.
Times.
It's every wall you look at.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely weird.
It's not all anime, because some of it is not Japanese.
Side note: his bed like kind of glows under black light. It's really weird.
But I don't know. Going back to like fucking, I don't know. I was 3 or 4 when my brother Timmy, he had the Nintendo 64. He had Mario Kart. That was the first game I ever played, you know. Did I get it at first? Probably a little bit faster than some other kids.
I could see that. I could definitely see
I don't
that.
know if I totally got it, but when I was playing it and I was doing well with it and I wanted to play more, and I still have that Nintendo 64.
That's so
crazily
awesome.
enough.
That's awesome.
I may even still have the same copy of Mario Kart. I don't know if it is or not, but from there, I had more Nintendo 64 games. Timmy was never that big into video games, so he kind of started to step away from it and kind of left it all to me. Which I mean, I don't know if I'd be the same person if he didn't do that. And probably some of the best memories for me as a kid were I eventually got my hands on an NES, a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay, yeah.
Some people just call it the old Nintendo. Whatever. Who cares?
I'm that guy.
It's that fucking VCR looking ass thing. I played the original Mario Brothers,
With
1,
the Duck
2,
Hunt?
3.
Hell
I
yeah.
played Duck Hunt. I had a fucking Jaws game. That game is surprisingly more in depth than you think it would be for a fucking movie game. There was more to it than you'd think, and it was kind of cool. Surprisingly, I don't even think I had Legend of Zelda. I kind of missed the boat on that my whole life. I know that's typically people's like big video game thing, but I was a Mario guy. I played a ton of Mario. Mario 64 is a game I got so lost in as a kid in a good way. You know, even when I knew what I was supposed to be doing, Mario 64 was a game where I just explored the worlds that exist and came up with my own reasons as to why they were there or why things were the way they were.
I mean, that's so cool that you would like deep dive, and not only deep dive into it, you're like, I'm going to give it my own lore because I don't know this, so I'm going to make up, something about that. I mean, that shows your creativity on some level.
Yeah,
you know?
Back then there was so much shit in games that didn't have a story to it. I mean, Mario 64 did if you wanted to read the manual, but obviously I didn't have the patience for that shit when I was a kid. But even in the manual, I mean, there were so many worlds that didn't have explanations, so I just thought of my own. And you flash forward to fucking, is that 3 years ago now? 3 years ago, Mario Odyssey came out on the Nintendo Switch, and I fucking adore that game. I literally
the Odyssey,
like the book. But
I mean, that'd be dope.
It's not really modeled
Mario
after
is
the book.
fucking.
No, it's not really modeled after the book. That would be kind of awesome. But the idea is it's Mario traveling around the world. So I mean,
that's also kind of cool,
right? Which you're like, well, he always does that, but like the idea is like he's not in just the Mushroom Kingdom. He's in like a place called Toast Arena, which is this big fucking desert with these like candy skull looking dudes, and they're fucking awesome. There's a place with these like Yeti guys. There's a place with like real fucking mermaids, but they look more like fish than you'd think because it's Mario. It doesn't give a fuck what you want. And God, that game makes me so happy. I just love that game a lot. That's a lot of where my interests are. Is I love animation and video games, and I like it when I typically like it when it's cartoonier. I'm not like, I'm just not that into like Resident Evil or Last of Us. They're cool. I don't dislike them, but and Resident Evil is a lot campier than I at once thought it was. So I do like that aspect of it. But, I like looking at things that, they spark creativity. There's so much more thought in like this fucking overly saturated, colorful character to me than there is in someone who like, we tried our best with the cutting edge technology to make every hair follicle on their face look real. It's cool. I don't get me wrong. It's impressive. I just, that's where it was. And, as you know, with our Pokemon episode, I watched a ton of Pokemon as a kid. I didn't even know that was Japanese. I was a child. How could I? I just saw it on TV.
I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, they Americanized the hell out of it. I watched the cartoon, which is it's actually an anime first. Not that it matters. Cartoon and anime are the same fucking thing, and fight me if you think they aren't. But
can I?
I mean, you'll take that opportunity just because I said fight me. But there are people who legitimately are like, cartoons and anime are different. No,
I don't think they're
not
that much different. They're just
they're not.
Different animation styles.
It's different animation styles. Like just
outside of that, that's literally it.
Like it's both the same type of media I appreciate. They're not fucking different except in like one's more accepted for an older audience in its country. Whatever, who cares?
Exactly. I would pay to watch Bugs Bunny fight Goku.
God, you know, that
I
exists.
just pissed off a lot of people.
That exists. I don't. You're really referencing a meme more than anything. Or Shaggy from Scooby Doo, because everyone always they were like, "Oh man, Shaggy's fucking Blanco. He's strong as shit." But whatever. We're getting off a tangent here. I think that's really probably where it started for me. I have a friend named Alex Hill, and if you grow up in the Genoa area, you probably recognize that name.
I mean, I could go one of two ways.
His parents own a bar in Genoa called Hill's Tap.
Okay, why have I never met this kid? Because someone likes.
Well, he doesn't live in Illinois now, so he's also. I mean, he's not like a. He's not really. He doesn't really care as much about the bar as his family.
Oh, well, then I'm out.
So you probably don't care about him as much. But I mean, no. I could take you to Hill's Tap one day when it opens again.
Right. Fuck you, Corona.
Yeah. And I would say he probably got me into anime mostly. He was a mutual friend at first, a friend of my roommate actually, Kevin.
Okay. Yeah.
And just, you know, occasionally hanging out with the both of them as opposed to just Kevin. And I don't even know why the fuck it happened. Eventually he's just like, "You want to watch anime?" And I think he realized, like, my parents didn't give a fuck who was in my house. And we had this big ass basement with a projector. So he's just like, "Let's watch anime in your basement." I was like, "Sure, fucking why not?"
Why not? Fuck
and then we watched, what all did we watch? I think we started with Saber Marionette, which...
I'm lost.
No, you absolutely wouldn't care for it.
One's a sword, one's a puppet. That's about as far as I know.
Right. It's what? So in the future, humanity finds another planet like Earth, and they try to populate it. They try to, like, you know, turn it into another Earth. But they lose communication with this planet, and they also, like, can't go back.
Okay, but what does a sword have to do with anything?
Nothing. Don't worry about the saber part. The saber part's just Japanese thought the word sounded cool, so they threw it in there. Marionette actually kind of makes sense, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, like the Godfather.
And what the fuck? It's so.
Oh, I love the Godfather.
There were only, like, so many people sent to the planet because I think they were just supposed to scout. It seems a little weird though. They sent like 4 fucking people, and there weren't enough women, so they eventually had to start, like, cloning humans.
This is gonna get real weird.
It's quick. Fucking weird. It's
one
just
of them's
strange
now a
anime.
sheep, like,
right? And I think
guy.
the girl ended up. Oh, she ended up getting lost. Essentially, she wasn't a part of the group anymore. So it was just men, right? So that all they could do is keep cloning.
Had one fucking job.
And because men are men, they're like, well, we're gonna make robots to, you know, do a lot of the work.
Is this where your fetish came from?
Absolutely. We're going to make robots do a lot of the work that, you know, we wouldn't do. A lot of the homework, you know, or like the work at home, right? Because the men were out, you know, cultivating or mining or whatever the fuck they were
fucking doing.
And they'd come home to, of course, a female robot, essentially wife, who was doing all of the work.
Japanese are fucking weird.
It's, you know, apparently the Japanese were like, let's just cut out the middleman, and by middleman we mean women, and just make robots.
Holy shit.
But yeah, the show revolves more around these, like, 3 robots that were, like, fucking honestly, I don't even know at this point. It's been so long since I've seen it. I think they were supposed to be able to reproduce or something, but they're also, like, strong and can fight and shit. It's anime. Everybody has to fight, except for the joke characters. They don't get to fight.
Right. That's one thing I've seen, like, doing this podcast, is, like, anime is violent.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's not a bad thing, but...
And, you know, the funny thing is, I think the anime you're exposed to, and it doesn't help that I typically expose a lot of that, is called, it's called shonen. And shonen it basically just means it's for boys, right?
Okay.
There's shonen for boys and shoujo for girls.
Of course, the girls one has Joe at the end of it. Fuck you, Anthony.
Yeah, Joe, we could get you into some shoujo anime. But shonen pretty much always has fights in it. It's just it's a rule. You know, boys want to see action. They want to see fighting happening. I mean, that's not surprising, right?
No, I mean you're land of the fucking samurai. MMA is
Yeah.
huge over in Japan.
Yeah.
Like they're selling out 500,000 seat arenas and shit. Like
Yeah.
that's a whole nother rant for a whole nother day, boy. Let me tell you, Japanese MMA is a lot more hardcore than what like United States MMA was.
And anime can fall under a lot more categories than shonen and shoujo. Those are just kind of the big ones. But shoujo is typically a lot more like romance comedy. Slice of life is a big one. And what those anime typically are, there's like no action usually. It's not that they can't exist, but a lot of the times
it's not like normal
it's not the typical, it's not the norm, because the girls probably want to watch romance more than they want to watch action. Now, of course, no judgments if you're a boy who watches shoujo or a girl who watches shonen. More power to you, man.
I'm judging you for watching any of it. Stop.
Well, yeah, he's judging you for watching anime. that's where it lies there. You know, but I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't watched shoujo anime before. I have.
Hey, look, man, we all got our thing. I mean,
there's a thing. It's like sometimes I want to watch something where it's people fighting people who are stronger than them and overcoming them and beating the fuck out of them. Yeah, of course I love to watch that shit. That shit's awesome. It's not to say that there hasn't been a time in my life where I'm like, I want to watch something that's gonna make me fucking cry. And it did.
More power to you. More power to you.
But get you a girl that does both. Get you One Piece, because One Piece does all that shit. I love it. One Piece is amazing. It's a good anime. It's about pirates.
I don't even. I have nothing to say.
You know what? One Piece is not something I can get you into, Joe, because it's been going on for over 20 years. So
Jesus.
I don't know if you'll have the patience for all that. But
when is the 2-piece coming out then?
Probably after this one ends. It'll probably go on for 50 years. You know,
my head hurts. Like, that's crazy. Like, okay, so you said on the topic of, like, you're like, oh, I'm just going to watch this anime that makes me cry. You know, that kind of brought up, what exactly is your guilty pleasure? Like, the one thing you've had, or the one thing you do that, like, you don't necessarily tell everybody that you do, even though you're about to. But, like, you know, all 6 of our listeners, like, what's the one thing that you don't normally tell people that you do? Because I'm going to also answer this question, so I'm going to make myself... Or like...
So, one thing that I did... I was more open about it at the time. And it's not airing anymore. It probably is,
well, is this
but
why
it's
you
different.
Can't go back to that petting zoo?
That is more apt than you have any idea. Several years ago... Actually, when was it airing? Probably around 2010.
Okay.
There was a new generation of My Little Pony that was airing, and
I'm actually not surprised by this.
I don't know how to take that. But yeah, I had the same reaction you'd imagine when it came out. I was like, why the fuck would I watch that? That's for little girls. Like, who the fuck's interested in this shit? And turns out some of my friends were, and they got me to watch it. And it was mostly like they were watching it and I was doing my own thing. I was around, and then I'd watch a little bit more and I'd laugh at a couple of jokes and genuinely get more interested in what was going on the screen.
Okay.
And surprisingly ended up really liking it. It's it's still dumb little kid humor a lot of the time. I'm
definitely going to call you Starshine from now on.
You call me that, that's fine. I don't care. But I mean, to say that I didn't get invested in the show for a while would be a lie. I absolutely loved that show. I still think there are aspects of it that are great. It spawned a lot of, amazing artists. There were a lot of people who looked at that show and they're like, man, this art's really good. And it is kind of really good. You can tell that the writers and the animators and the people who worked on it gave a shit. Like, they weren't just hired to make Hasbro's fucking toy pony show. Because obviously Hasbro's like, well, we gotta sell this shit. Like, that's what the show's made to do. It's like G.I. Joe back in the day. It didn't exist to be a good show. It existed to sell fucking toys. Products. Yeah. But I am blanking on her name. The woman who made this iteration of My Little Pony was
Starshine.
I don't remember her name off the top of my head. She made other shows like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends,
which was a wonderful show.
Yeah, and she worked on, I think she started in shows like Dexter's Lab and shit like that.
Which was great. Super dope, yeah. I remember that.
It definitely was the type of thing where it just had a talented crew working with it, you know? It was a better show than it had any right to be.
Yeah, there was a couple of those shows that just were really good, but shouldn't have been.
Right,
you know?
like popped up out of nowhere and nobody expected it to do well, and it just did.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of those. I mean, Foster's was a really good example.
Yeah.
I can't think of any right offhand. I'd have to go through the catalog in my mind of like the shows I used to watch.
I'm sure if Roxy were here, she'd be helping us.
Oh man,
I assume Foster's
was
the
hard.
thing she was into.
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls. When I was a kid, Powerpuff Girls was that show that tricked little boys into watching it.
I mean, it did. I watched it.
Because there was fighting in it.
Yeah, Buttercup was a goon. Hey, if you really think about it, it's fucked up, bro. Because like whenever they saw Mojo Jojo, it was on sight, dude.
Yeah, they didn't even question
Like, they were going to jump the shit out of this monkey.
The dude could be grocery shopping. They'd beat the fuck out of him.
He's going to run up and smack the hell out of this guy. He's like, I'm not even taking... Like, I paid my card.
I need bread.
Like, I need bread.
I came out for milk. What the fuck?
And there was another thing, too. That devil was gay as hell, boy.
Oh, him? Yeah.
Like, him was
gay.
like...
Not just that. Him was like a
cool.
fucking like trans icon.
Yeah, he was a trans icon.
That fucking like deep but like hello kind of voice, and then the fucking like skirt, and the character was badass.
The character was awesome. I'm a huge fan of him.
You know, even before I knew that I gave a shit about human rights, which is apparently a thing I had to learn, I still was like, well, him's just fucking awesome. I mean, you can't just look at this character and be like, he's not fucking cool.
Yeah,
he's awesome. So
he was awesome. Like,
Powerpuff Girls was originally pitched as a show called Whoop Ass Stew. Yeah, so there's a reason we like it a lot more than we think we would.
Awesome.
Because straight up the show was just about these three little girls with superpowers who just like fuck shit up
hard. Like that was the whole premise of the show.
In the fucking in the pilot, I think they turn one of their enemies into stew. Like, I think they beat the shit out of him and then, like, cook him. Yeah. So, like, it definitely was a show that... I don't even know if it was originally pitched to kids. It was probably pitched to, like, older teens. Yeah. And then Cartoon Network was like, well, we're going to have to get rid of that. And, you know, we can work with this, but you got to work with us here. We're for, like, you know, TV Y7.
Right.
Not 14.
Right. I remember, okay, I don't know if you'll consider this an anime or not, but I think this is the deepest I've ever delved into the anime scene. Samurai Jack.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, that was awesome, dude. Samurai Jack was the shit, dude.
Have you heard of Primal?
No, I have not.
So, the guy who made Samurai Jack is Gendy Tartakovsky.
Yeah.
And he also made Dexter's Lab, funnily enough.
That's awesome.
Or at least was a big part of it.
Yeah, that guy's big in the business.
Yeah, and he recently made a show that was on Adult Swim called Primal. No words. It like literally there's no spoken dialogue. It is about cavemen and dinosaurs. And not you're like, man, that sounds fucking badass. And it is. But also there's like real fucking emotion in it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, like I've heard that like it's made people fucking cry. So like damn, this guy does it all.
Right, that's a heavy hitter right there.
Yeah.
Like...
And a show where your characters are incapable of telling you how they feel. You learn everything by watching.
That's
because
crazy.
You know the main character is a caveman. He doesn't speak a known language. He grunts and shit. The other characters are dinosaurs. They don't get to fucking speak. So it's just insane that you know he could write something like that. But yeah, Samurai Jack. It's definitely one of those shows that you see it on and you can tell from like the art style to the way it's written. You know, it's just got something that grabs you.
It does.
It just looks so fucking good. Aku is like,
oh yeah,
one of my all-time favorite villains.
Like a shadow villain.
Yeah,
you know that was something that wasn't really done then.
Yeah,
like I mean, if I were to say I have a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I gave mine away. So
it's hard because everybody I'm very open about everything.
Uh-huh.
My guilty pleasure, one, I like country music. I think I like country.
That's disgusting.
I love
That's worse than
like
what I
old
said.
school. Fuck right off, Anthony, you neckbeard little fuck. I also love crooners like Frank Sinatra.
Oh well, yeah, that shit's awesome.
Like I always love that. Michael Bublé, even like Alicia Keys. Like, sorry, babe, but that was my original baby's mama right there.
Mhm.
Like, just her voice. Same thing with like Mary J. Blige. I fell in love with those. Almost a strong female voice. Just gets me every time.
Yeah.
And I think that, and I also have this fucking crazy, like, I love poetry. I love it. Just like the way people can smith words together, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way they can play, the way, you have a short stanza of words,
Yeah.
but it hits you like a train type thing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's pretty much it. Like, other than that, everybody knows what I'm into. And
Yeah, you're certainly not quiet about it.
I've never been a quiet person. I tend to make friends easily, but I also tend to make adversaries quite as easy too. Like, so we were also talking about hobbies. If you could learn a hobby right now, like if you had all the time in the world and all the intelligence in the world to learn a new hobby, what would that hobby be?
Oh, okay.
Something you've always wanted to learn, but just never put forth the effort or never had the time for, or something like that.
I guess I would say piano, but I've actually put forth some effort in learning piano as a kid. Not that really matters now. But it didn't help that after that point in my life, I just never had room for a piano anymore. Yeah. A keyboard would be great too. I've always
do a musical episode.
Right.
I have no musical talent.
No, neither do I.
That's gonna be real fucking interesting.
But I've always liked the idea of, like, if you knew, when if you could throw an instrument into someone's hands and they play music, that shit's awesome to me.
Yeah, I'm on the same level.
Yeah, and teenage boys, you'd think they always like, guitar is like a go-to, and I took guitar lessons as well, but that one was a little bit more like, I think I might have wanted to learn guitar at one time. I think my parents wanted me to learn guitar.
Okay.
So it definitely wasn't something that kept my interest the way piano did. And then piano,
because piano's a classy fucking instrument.
Yeah, and it always sounds beautiful, and like anything you use it in, or it can sound fucking discordant and ridiculous and still sound good.
Right, like the old-timey Western pianos.
Yeah, like the fact that
I am not musically inclined.
Piano does so much shit is just cool to me. But I had an instructor, I don't remember how old I was, young enough where this shouldn't have been a factor, but apparently it was. She was like a cute college-age girl who was teaching me piano. So obviously
where do I sign up for those classes?
Seriously. So obviously I had no qualms about going. And then she went to another state to go to college, like go to a different college. So the place I was going to get lessons gave me a new instructor who was like this old lady who smelled like cat piss.
Who's hitting you with rulers and shit? Like, no,
she was nice. I mean, she was the type of nice where I thought it was a facade. I thought it was fake, but it was definitely, she was nice. She wasn't like abusive or anything, but it was the fact that, like, I had to sit next to this old lady who smelled like cat piss, and I was eventually just like, Mom, I don't want to learn this.
I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't that I didn't want to learn the instrument anymore. I just didn't want to do it there.
Exactly. I have no musical talent at all. The fine arts are lost on me.
Yeah.
I learned sports as a kid, so like drawing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a huge appreciation for, everything from the fine arts all the way even to ballet. Like, I have the most appreciation and respect for ballet because the absolute just insanity that they put their body through. Like,
I mean, you have to be fit to do it. As
a fighter, I'm like, I understand what it's like to put your body through absolute hell to get where you want to be. I'm huge. I have no artistic talent. I can't draw my way out of a wet paper bag. But like seeing these people, like your friend you plugged earlier, how he could take an image from his head, put it through his hand and onto a piece of paper, in a most brilliant way blows my mind, man.
Yeah.
Like, because that's just, I can throw a football, I can throw a basketball, I can shoot a double leg. I can do all these things that and I'm pretty decent at in sports. But fuck, dude, I couldn't tell you the difference between a G and a C note. I can't play any of that shit. Like,
arts are always something that is like, I want to encourage everyone to get into it. Get yourself an art. Just do some art. Do something.
Do art. Do band. Do dance.
Being able to practice at something, even if you feel like you're bad, and you come out on the other side and you look at it and you're like, that's actually pretty good. I made something that looks good or sounds
doing better
good.
than I am.
Yeah, it's like, I think a lot of the times you hear, you see people who look at good art and they're like, man, I wish I could draw. You can draw. I mean, assuming you're able-bodied, assuming you have the hands to do it.
Yeah, so yeah.
And even if you don't have the hands to do it, people draw with their fucking feet. Draw.
Right.
Just like, if you want to do it.
I saw an elephant draw with his tusk, and it was better than me, so fuck that elephant.
Maybe you're the type of person who wants to get into acting. That's an art.
Act.
Dude, that's cool shit. Do improv with people. Play fucking D&D. You get to act in D&D all the fucking time. Right? It's role-playing. That's what you do.
Literally role-playing.
You want to pick up an instrument, that can be tougher because they're expensive, but you can find cheaper options.
Yeah, find a way.
Pick it up. Do it. Do an art. And, don't let yourself say, oh, I can't do it. I don't have the time to do it. An hour a day makes so much of a difference.
It does. It does, absolutely. Right now I'm trying to learn Spanish. I want to emphasize that trying.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at it, but I do realize, especially after spending time with my wife's side of the family, who's all Hispanic, I'm picking up a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I'm talking to them. I can understand a lot more than I can speak it, but I'm getting there, so to speak. And I've always wanted to learn multiple languages because I'm fascinated by other cultures, by other languages, other ways of life. I love the De los Del Muertes of the Hispanic and the Mexican people. Just the lore behind that, how they celebrate the colorfulness of death that culture sees it as.
Yeah, it's not like a hush hush thing. We don't talk about it after it happened. It's celebrated.
Yeah, it's celebrated as the next phase in life almost.
Yeah. It's there's two truths. Everyone. It's the same for everyone. Everyone is born, everyone dies. It's the way it is.
Plain and simple. You can either celebrate it or mourn it, Yeah. I have always said, I'd rather people celebrate my life than mourn my death. And I think they really kind of do that in De los Del Muertes.
Yeah.
And, doing that, going down to New Orleans for Fat Tuesday, I've always wanted to do that type thing. Or, go to, I've always wanted to go to Italy. And I don't really know any of their holidays out there, but
yeah.
I've always been fascinated by other people's other cultures, other ways of life, and just ultimately also the cuisine. Different, I'm enamored with different foods from around the world. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's some gross shit out there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I've missed that. I've completely missed that because there's not a lot that
you try something new and something weird and it ends up impressing you. You didn't think it would
languas.
taste like that.
I love languas.
What's a lengua?
Lengua is cow tongue tacos.
Oh, okay.
But the way they prepare it, it soaks up all the meat and all the spices, and it's wonderful. And I would have never have tried that as a kid, but now as an adult, it's let's do this,
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah, I've I've been to Japan. I went to Japan last year.
That's awesome.
I went to visit a friend of mine who was teaching over there. I'm just referencing everyone I know today, aren't I? He was only there for a year, and I figured if there was never a better time to go and visit Japan.
Yeah.
So I did it. And you might be thinking oh, you went to Tokyo, you went and saw that. I was in Tokyo only to change flights. I did not get to visit Tokyo. I didn't get to see the tourist city that is Tokyo.
Right.
And I'd love to. This isn't me saying anything bad about Tokyo.
No.
It's absolutely a place I want to go one day. But I was in a town that I would call a lot more rural. I don't think there were very many English speakers in Matsusaka.
Yeah.
And getting to see the common life there, like the everyday life. Nobody was like, trying to sell me something because I was clearly a tourist. Nobody saw me as, like just another fucking paycheck, right?
Right, yeah.
I was there in a town where people were just living their fucking life.
Yeah.
We went to a ramen shop where it was clear that, like, or at least it seemed like they probably lived out of it. Like, they probably went upstairs and that was their home up there.
Yeah.
And the ramen was fucking delicious.
I would imagine.
It was amazing. We went to a couple places that were chain restaurants too, and those places were good as well. We went to like a curry place that was fucking awesome. Went to a sushi place that was great. And everything there is just like humble and just like so chill. Nobody there from what I saw was like a dickhead. No people prefer usually to keep to themselves.
Yeah.
For the most part,
They're kind of introverted.
Yeah, and I looked at for being American a little bit, yeah. But
you're also a giant American.
And I'm also big.
In Japan.
I'm a very big person.
Japan are not.
They're typically smaller over there, yeah. Whatever. But funnily enough, I'm wearing the shirt. When I was there, we were on a train at one point. My friend and I got up out of our seats to give these old ladies a seat.
Oh, of course.
These three little old ladies came onto the train, and we moved right away and let them have a seat. And I'm just talking to him, or I was just looking out the window, and he chuckles because he like looked around, then he chuckled, and he's like, "I thought I heard the word dog. They're talking about your shirt." So I'm wearing this shirt with a Shiba Inu that's wearing like fucking sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt. And these little old ladies loved it. They loved this little dog shirt that I'm wearing. They called it kawaii, which just means cute.
Which means cute, yeah. I actually know that.
Yeah, and I understood them when they said that part, and I laughed and I pulled my shirt out to show them it better, and it was fucking great. The fact that I have stories like that to take home from Japan is awesome. It's what really matters to me.
Yeah.
I could have gone.
Yeah,
I could have gone and visited any old fucking place. I went to a ninja village, but that's not the first story I tell you. I tell you about the fucking old ladies
because
they were adorable.
That's what you remember. That's the connection you had with those people.
Yeah, it made more of a difference. We went through a town that was known for like selling anime, selling doshinji, which is like it's like someone wants to write a comic book, but they don't have the money or the fame to do it, so they're basically selling on the street. It's my mixtape, you buy my mixtape. Yeah,
it's your mixtape.
We went to a place that was like that, and it was super cool. And we went into. They had a store there. This was a city, by the way, so it makes sense.
Right.
But not like a hustle bustle Chicago type city. It was a smaller city. And the store was like just a capsule store. Like you'd put money into these little capsule toys, and you'd turn the knob, and it would drop out a little capsule. And a lot of them had like a note that was like, "Oh, you win this prize," and there were like these huge fucking plushies or whatever, right? I don't remember what I won. I don't think it was anything fun. And I saw one
just a dog turd, like
it was just a piece of shit. But one of the employees there, I noticed on her bag, she had pins of video game characters. A video game that had come out rather recently in the US. And that game's called Undertale, if anyone listening knows what Undertale is.
They don't.
They probably don't. But to my knowledge, Undertale wasn't something that was popular in Japan. It's more popular now in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
But then I thought it was like unheard of. So I pointed at her bag and I was like excited. I was like, "Oh, I know these characters." And she didn't speak any English. So
now she thinks she's getting robbed by this giant white man.
This giant American man just pointing at her and like trying to take her money. No, I'm kidding. My friend who was with me was fluent in both languages. So he did a pretty good job of
That's awesome.
translating our little conversation. And it wasn't easy because he couldn't tell which characters I was trying to name. And then like you can't you can't like translate a name typically.
Yeah, you really can't.
So it doesn't really work. But I was able to talk to her and I like ask her who her favorite character was, and it was awesome. Fun. It was really cool. And it was just some random little interaction I had, and he was surprised because he's like, "I didn't think you would just randomly like call someone out and start asking them questions when you don't even know the language." I was like, "Yeah, well, I saw it, so I just went for it.
Like I can definitely like. I know it's running a little longer, but I can
No, we're
close out.
good.
Like okay, I didn't know what it was, but I did get here late. But that's besides the point. So back in 2010-ish, 2009, 2010, the girl I was dating at the time, her sister lived out in Pennsylvania. So we went out to Pennsylvania, and we did it via train. We didn't fly, which don't fucking do that. All right, look, I'm just gonna. It's unless you get one of those really fancy trains. It was just a fucking commuter
I
train.
was gonna say, it sounds cool, but I guess it wasn't, huh?
In hindsight, it was about certain times of the journey, really. You know, seeing the Allegheny Mountain Range through the train, that was really cool.
Yeah.
But we had to board over onto another train on another track, so we had about a 2 or 3 hour stay in the train station. So I noticed this Amish family playing cards. Okay, I mean, they're Amish, they speak English and everything, and I asked them, I was like, hey, you know, because I'm very extroverted, I will absolutely talk to anybody. Yeah. And I was like, hey, what are you guys playing over there? They said some crazy-ass game, so I was like, now I'm interested, I need to know how to play.
Uh-huh.
So we started playing for about 10, 15 minutes and everything, and they're like, oh, well, what do you play? I was like, poker. They're like, oh, poker, what's poker? Because they don't know. They're not in our culture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're a whole nother culture. Same geographic area, completely different culture. So I showed them how to play just basic Texas Hold'em, and like, I had a blast with those people who I would have never have connected with, but we had a blast talking and laughing over card games. Like, I made fun of the way they dressed. They made fun of the way I talked.
Right.
Like, they shit on Chicago. Like, but
which is reasonable.
Which is reasonable, all right.
Us and our stupid fucking accent. It just sounds like you woke up after a fucking hangover. This is the accent that is like accompanied by a man who's wearing nothing but a robe. This is the accent equivalent of having your fucking dick hanging out at all times.
Right, some Big Lebowski type shit. Like, and we definitely had a lot of fun on that trip. I befriended a bunch of Amish people. I actually asked one for her number, and I was like, oh yeah, the phone thing. But like, I've done that too. We had grown up in a Hispanic neighborhood. My best friend Mike, he's still my best friend to this day. We've been friends since like literally the 5th grade. We met in detention. That's a whole slew of stories. Surprised. That's a whole slew of stories. Like, I could write a book on that, to be honest with you. And there was this tiny little Mexican man that had a tiny little cart, and he would push around the neighborhood, and he would sell ice cream and elote. You know what elote is, right?
No.
The Hispanic corn. It's corn,
okay.
Mayonnaise, butter.
Yeah, the good shit.
Yeah, the good shit. He would always sell it. And my friend Mike, he's a little bit bigger than you are. He's a big old Irish guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was funny because you see the elote guy, he gets so excited because, fuck yeah, it's elote. And none of us speak a lick of Spanish, by the way. So we're running at this dude, trying to flag him down. He starts, like, falling to the ground, like, no, take. And he's, like, throwing money at us. He's like, Mike's like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? He's like, don't rob. No, take. I done, don't hurt. And I'm like, no. And we gave him his money back, like, elote. Like,
we want to pay you.
We want to pay you. And, like, from then on, this guy understood, like, whenever he saw, like, the couple
all these dumbass gringos
running up, that, like, they were there to buy elote. And, like, during Christmas season, we started paying him a little bit more for the elote type thing.
Yeah.
And, like, I think Mike, I think he got his birthday and bought him, like, a 24 case of Corona for his birthday. And we sat there on the corner of State and 11th.
Right.
Drinking fucking Coronas and Modelo's and eating the elote. I was maybe 16, 17. Sure. Like, and just having that experience, though, and being able to experience all these different cultures, all these different ways of life. And, you know, I feel bad for people that were brought up in suburban white bread country.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they know, and unfortunately, that's all they were ever.
And not just
know.
that, but like like other cultures are weird or like repressed. You know?
Yeah.
Like if you're growing up and your parents are telling you like, oh, don't like that, that's weird. You know, like, and you feel bad for you.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Your parents have no taste. Fuck them. Like don't look at someone just because they're different and be like, well, they're fucking weird. You're fucking weird. This fucking Mexican corn's delicious.
Exactly.
Asshole.
Yeah. Have you tried dick face? Like, because Mexican culture in itself is amazing. But I just don't get that. Like, how can you go to the store and the old black lady is like, hey, can you grab that for me? And you grab it for her and she's like, thank you, honey. And how do you not melt?
How does that not warm your fucking
Make
soul?
you feel fucking great.
Yeah.
When that old black lady's like, thank you, honey, and like pats you on the shoulder. Like, I don't know why
how
people
can a
would
whole
love
ass world exist out there and you're like, nope, I like my bubble. Like, I'm a shut-in. I'm a guy who watches fucking anime and plays video games all the time, and I'm saying this shit. Like, I'm not an introvert, or I'm not an extrovert like Joe, where I love to like go out to bars and drink with people all the time. But I realize there's more to like social study aspect. There's more to like a culture than just what I've experienced.
Hell, drinking alone is its own goddamn culture, really.
Yeah, drinking alone has its own perks, but
No, not like drinking alone, but like just drinking,
just
as a
drinking in
culture
general.
itself, you know?
I thought you were like
it's almost a universal culture, because, like...
Ever since people realized they could ferment grapes, they were like, fuck it. I don't have anything better to go on in my life, let's get drunk.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, you know, and to really have that, and I'm proud, you know, to say my kid is white as shit, but also half Hispanic. Like, I say that with pride type thing, you know, and like to know that all my niece and nephew are part black, part white. They're mixed. Like, and I think if you guys really want the best of everything, you know, there is no master race. The master race is every race mixed together type thing. Yeah. Like, every human mixed together.
You know,
like
raise a kid that's going to grow up and hold hands with people of all colors, not a kid who's going to look at those hands and feel like they're lesser or dirty or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You fucked up. Because kids innately don't give a shit about that kind of thing.
No, they don't.
You know, innately kids just see other kids and they're like, that's a new person to play with. Because they are.
Right? Why can't... I mean, honestly, I'm like that as an adult. You know, I come up and I'm like, hey, that's a new guy. I'm going to go talk to him.
Yeah, like, you are. And it terrifies me. But it does work for you.
I don't know how many times I've been sitting at a bar and like I'll go in with one friend. Next thing I know, we're going out to eat and there's like 7 of us. You know, like... Like, guys, you know, for example, I was sitting at Stanley's one night. It was just me and yet again my friend Mike. And, like, we started playing... Oh, you're going to get a fucking kick out of this one. Started playing pool with a couple of girls and a couple of guys. And, like, we were just kind of switching in and out, playing teams and everything. This old Asian lady comes up. Uh-huh. She's got a shirt on. It's not much like yours. It's a fucking... some type of cat thing.
Right.
Like, and it's a sweater. It's a mid-December. So, I mean, it's around Christmas time. So she's all sweatered up. And she's like... Hey, you mind if I join and play some pool with you guys? Well, fuck yeah, get on in here. Right. She wipes the table with us, bro. Like, and I'm not a bad pool player.
Right.
And, like, my friend Mike is even better. She comes in and just tears us up. She's like, good game, guys. Good game. Can I buy you a drink? And I'm like, let me buy you a drink for just decimating us now. We ended up making friends with her, making friends with like a couple of couples, and we were like, somehow we got into this whole thing about like they had never had this Mexican food and was like, hey dude, we got a great Mexican joint, and like all of us I think ended up at Burritoville like 2:30 in the morning. 3 of us were just drunk as shit. Mike's behind the counter taking tequila shots with the owner. Like, I don't even know how the fuck he got back there. Like, I'm talking to this old Japanese lady. Like, we've been friends for fucking a decade now. And, like, she's telling me about all these things. I'm telling her about all these things.
Nice.
And when it boils down to it, that's who I am. I'm extremely extroverted. And the world is such a beautiful place, and fuck anybody who tries to mess that up.
Yeah.
You know? Like, fuck those guys. And you introverts should come out more.
Working on it.
I mean, you have came out a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been at the bar with you. It's just, it's not like, I don't know, I guess it's not that I don't want to, although there are times I guess I'd rather stay home, but, you know, usually when I get asked to go, it's like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll go. You know?
We're never not going to ask you to go.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, except when you guys don't.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason, because fuck you, no.
But yeah, no, I mean, when you guys have asked me to go, I've genuinely enjoyed myself. I think sometimes a little bit lost because there are people I don't know and I don't make new friends as easily as you do. But I mean, it's definitely something that I want to get better at. You know, I just kind of go at my own pace.
No, that's fine. That's totally fine. Like, especially when you get like me and Melissa, for instance, you put us together. You're two extremely extroverted people that is going to bring everybody around them into their circle.
You put you two together, and surprisingly, there are less crimes committed than you'd expect.
I mean, like, she'll always be like my little sister, and you know, I know we rambled a lot and everything, but I hope everybody kind of got to know a little bit more about us. Come drinking with me, come play a video game with Anthony.
Right.
You know, make food with me kind of thing. You know, hit me up online, you know, get to know me, ask some questions. Same thing with Anthony. Like, if you ever stuck in a video game, I'm pretty sure this motherfucker over here can help you out.
I'd at least figure it out, probably.
I mean, you could. You have a very high IQ when it comes to that video game stuff. Like, I mean, you don't really play the same video games I do, and let's be honest here, I have to YouTube my way through half of the fucking video game, because I'm like, oh, I spent 5 minutes on this, fuck, I'm just going to YouTube it. Like, but yeah, I think people should really hit us up and listen to the podcast, and
yeah, maybe when all this blows over, we can go out to the pub and have a drink, you know?
Right, and we're always looking for special guests, so fucking, if you know something, teach us something. Fuck, man. Like, except you, Jeremiah, no one wants to listen to you.
If you've watched it to the end, good job. You're never allowed on the podcast.
He doesn't. He already told me he doesn't listen to ours. But yeah, I hope everybody kind of learned a little bit more about us. Sorry about the rant. We didn't have anything planned, but I think that turned out to be an actually really good episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rant was what the point was this time, wasn't it?
Yeah, this time.
I don't know if anybody knows us any better now after this, but I honestly don't even know what we accomplished this time. Did we accomplish
we're
anything?
Opinionated assholes, but it's good opinions, so fuck that. You know?
Yeah, but our opinions are right.
Exactly. Oh, it's true, man. And you know, hit us up and
a like, comment, subscribe. I'm not saying those things because it's a meme.
No, do it.
Turns out, if you've made it this far into the video, you must actually like listening to us, which is crazy to me. If you make comments on our YouTube page, YouTube actually looks at that and goes, oh, hey, people are interacting. That means we can show this to other people and they'll interact. I know, it sounds crazy, but the comments make so much of a difference. So much more than just simply watching. So definitely do so. Like, you can call us assholes. You can say our opinions are stupid.
Whatever you want to do.
I'm down for it. But, like, please make comments. You know, keep watching. Let us know what you think. I mean, if you guys have ideas or topics, go ahead and drop it. You know,
yeah, drop it.
Let us hear about it.
What do you want to hear us talk about? Like, do you want to be a special guest? Do you have an idea for an episode? Do you want to hear me screech into the mic for 20 minutes because I've been drinking too much?
What are your favorite cheeses?
Yeah, do you want to know what my favorite cheeses are?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't even know what my favorite cheeses are.
No, not your favorite cheeses. I don't give a fuck about yours.
Oh,
people commenting and just say what their favorite cheese is.
Yeah, say what your favorite cheese is. You know, I mean, if you have any idea, be like, hey, Joe, you worked in a bar for so many years, you know, what do you think is a good drink or something? Or,
yeah.
Anthony, what show are you currently watching? Because God knows you're watching like 5 of them, you lazy fuck.
It's very possible.
Wow, I didn't expect that to end like that, but okay.
Alrighty, Joe. Well, we've rambled for a bit here, so I'll see you all next week. Stay safe out there. Next week, maybe not. I don't know what's going on next week.
I mean, it'd be in the if you can. I'll be in town.
I shouldn't have an issue.
Yeah,
So we'll
we
see.
can definitely do that. We'll do a special themed holiday one or something.
Sounds good.
I don't know. I might bring Roxy back for the fucking Harry Potter episode because we're running out of ideas here. Which, that's why we're telling you to give us ideas, so fucking do it.
Yeah, we're lazy. Help us.
I mean, yeah. Or if you do, whatever.
All right, guys.
Have a good week, guys. We'll see you next time.